What? Oh, man. What is going on, everyone? It is your boy, Pat Bernard, a.k.a. The Gobbler, alongside my man, MK, my man, Mitch. Mitch, what's going on, buddy?
Oh my living God. What a
Yes.
game. I predicted 28-24. Yeah, that's going to bother me more than actual win, but wow.
And, of course, A-Town Downs in the house. You saw him on the pregame show. My man, Austin, does a phenomenal job. Union beat reporter. He's in the house. Guys, we are what I thought this game was going to be over. I'm not going to lie. I thought the Eagles were going to shoot themselves in the foot at the very end. The penalties were just kept on stacking up with the Bradbury and the rough in the passer hit. I thought all this was going to come piling down on top of the Birds, and no, this front four steps up big time. This is now twice on two drives where they gallop. No pun intended, but they wound up gobbling Dak Prescott. They want to turn him into a lunch pail. They take care of him. A Brandon Graham sighting was out there, and this is what you need. You need these kind of games. Every one of these games so far for the Eagles have been nothing but knockout fights, and now this is your second MC East divisional game, and it turns out to be another knockout fight. So, Austin, I'm going to go to you. What's your reaction to all this?
Dude, this was exactly what you wanted from an Eagles Cowboys game. It was very knockdown, drag out the entire time. Both teams with big plays throughout the entirety, and especially at the tail end of that game, it was games on the line. Both sides are worn down, and the defensive line came through with some big plays to help out. Even though some of them looked like it could have shot us in the foot, especially that roughing the passer, like you mentioned. But man, these guys came through exactly when they needed to. Them and the secondary both.
Yeah, and I gotta agree with
I feel like I'm finally breathing in the last 4.5 minutes of that fourth quarter, dude. Oh my goodness.
I gotta agree with my man Quentin here because I had to take 2 baby aspirins after that game. Yeah, listen, and everyone should be loading up. I mean, again, you got to give the Cowboys credit. They played a good game today. I kind of call this on my morning show. I said you have to look out. I feel like the tape is out already on the secondary. I feel like Eric Bieniemy kind of exposed that last week, and I said with a veteran quarterback like Dak Prescott, he's going to explode us some more. And look, man, he's nerve-wracking to deal with. Luckily, the Eagles defense came up and stepped up right there when it was time to do so. But Dak today over 300 yards, 375 yards, 3 TDs, got sacked 5 times today. Jalen Hurts today, 207 yards, 2 TDs. And how about the most scariest part of the game today? Right before half, I thought Jalen was done. I thought everyone, he keeps on telling the media, he keeps on telling the fan base that he's fine, he's A-OK. But when he got that shot to the knee, to the shin, I thought, for instance, that definitely we were going to get a what you call it coming in there. I can't think of his name right about now. I don't know why his name is sitting at the top of my tongue, but
Marcus
I thought
Mariota?
I thought Mario was going to come in. Thank you. I thought for sure Mario was going to be coming in there, but this kid's tough. And coming out of that second half, he came out like an animal, a raging bull, if you will. Dropping dimes in Devontae Smith's hands. He finds, A.J. Brown in the end zone. Again, this dude bullies through, and with the tush push, counters everything. So, Mitch, I'm going to go to you. Biggest takeaway so far in this game, in the second half?
The second half, I'm actually going to go with 2 players here. Zach Cunningham, he came out of the woodworks in the second half. He was delivering those hits. I was telling my dad, I was actually watching the game with my dad, first time this year, felt good. And I was like, nice. That's Eagles football. That's Eagles football with that hit Cunningham had on Dak. And Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat with the crucial sack at the end. That was a huge sack. He came up big. I loved it. Just those 2 guys on the defensive side.
And you're right. And it's funny because I got to give my man Mike Lauer credit. He said if anybody's going to have a sack today, it's going to be Josh Sweat and Cunningham. And here, sure enough, my man looks into a crystal ball, here we are. Josh Sweat did have a nice little sack on today. So again, some things did happen. Like I said, I was really happy to see a Brandon Graham bust out sack. clutch moment. You needed it because Dak was gaining speed. And again, what scared me was CD Lamb getting open over the middle, CD Lamb picking them apart. It was scary. We did not have the middle coverage. Blankenship looked like he was getting toasted out there. Bradbury looked like he was getting toasted out there. It was scary for most part of this game. But again, this secondary, the Eagles stepped up. And the only thing that kind of irked me most was that there wasn't really any kind of adjustments in Sean Desai's playbook. To me, it was the same old 4-3 defense I constantly seen. I'm like, when are we going to start putting some blitz packages together? When are we going to start getting to the quarterback? And luckily, the Eagles came up big in the second half. Here goes my man Jeff. He goes, "What was that last drive where we were trying to give them the game?" Jeff, you we're trying to figure that out because
it sure did seem like it. I'm not gonna lie, but them refusing to clock the ball on that second down and just deciding to try and schoolyard it and almost having the ball like taken away was not great for their decision making there. Wound up only leaving them with 5 seconds on the clock at the end. It was a tough game for this defense overall. I mean, I believe this is the most yardage we've allowed by a tight end this year, with Ferguson getting 91, which now pushes the total to almost 500 yards through 9 weeks.
Yep.
So, I mean,
yeah, Mitch.
What I was gonna say, Ferguson had a game. He had a game, and I'm just like, can we stop him? Can someone step up in the middle? Like, we were getting torched there. I don't know. Ferguson just showed out today. He looked like Gonzalez. He looked like Tony Gonzalez out there. I mean,
Dude,
it was ridiculous.
He definitely could have been the hero of this game if it wasn't for Reed Blankenship being able to get off of that rub route very easily.
Yeah. So here goes Mike checking in. He says the Eagles got exposed in the slot by CD and by their tight end. Mike, what I tell you this morning, you were checked in. What I tell you, keep your eyes open.
It was one of my matchups to watch was us against the tight end again.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and Mike, here we go. You're just preaching to the choir here. The Eagles couldn't blitz because of their secondary is suspect, especially in the slot, and no covered tight end.
No coverage on the tight ends, yeah.
Yeah, no cover linebacker. I meant. So, yeah, listen. And like I said, it was nice to see, again, Goddard getting mixed up in the playbook. He had 3 catches for 50 yards, no TDs. Like I said, the second half was a better showing of the Eagles. But man, like I said, it got scary. That last drive, I think we were all biting our nails. 3 costly penalties that took from the Cowboys from one side of the field to the other. And matter of 3 stupid penalties. And I got to be honest. I think the Eagles got away with some. I mean, there was that one that questionable pass interference call that the Birds got away with in the second half. I wasn't too sure. I don't know if that's how they got away with it, but anyway, what else concerned you about this game, Austin? Real fast before I get into that comment, here goes Steve. I don't know how anyone could watch this game and think either this team has the composer to execute in the clutch or make sure SB. You couldn't come up with a conclusion to be insane.
Yeah. I mean, 100%. This was. I mean, there were a lot of deficiencies on both sides of the ball for both teams, and a lot of that was exposed today. So, I mean, you look at Kansas City; they had a tough one out against Miami, and their defense is and Miami's defense is kind of suspect. So, I mean, there's a lot of question marks going around the league, but thank goodness a lot of teams are hitting bye weeks now, so we're getting to that point where a lot of teams can sort of rest up and refocus. So, maybe the second half of the season after the bye week for some of these teams is going to make a lot of a difference, especially for Philadelphia. You'll hopefully get a few guys back from injury, and it's we're going to see how it goes.
Yeah, and listen, it feels good. You're going into to pick back with you, Austin. You're going into the break 8-1. It feels like we're 5-4, something like that. It does not feel like this is an 8-1.
I mean, very easily could have been a 5-4 team right now with how some of these games wound up breaking. Honestly,
I'm telling you. I mean, these are not wins like they were having last year. These are dogfights that they're into. Dogfights. These are going around 12 in a boxing fight. I mean, this is some scary stuff. So Mike checked in again. He goes, the DC corner has been okay all season. The OC was okay all season. I would fire the DC and bring back Rex Ryan, and as he wants to be back in here. Let's pump the brake there on that
Yeah.
one, there, buddy. Let's pump the brake on bringing Rex Ryan in here. The best present from Saint Nick is to clean up Nick. To clean up Nick. Yeah, listen. And like I said, I took a bundle of notes here. Again, from start to finish, I got the Eagles attacked that right side of the field. They were just looking for the Eagles, the Cowboys' weak side. The Cowboys came back. They scored CD Lamb. Cowboys fake. Again, Ferguson, as also mentioned, out there, put himself out there and make some big plays today. Matter of fact, let's go to his stat for the day. And Rex Ryan got not Rex. Why did I say Rex Ryan? Thank you, Mike, for putting Rex Ryan in my head. Jesus.
Right.
Ferguson. I was looking up Ferguson. I say Rex Ryan. Wow. Jake Ferguson got 7 catches for 91 yards. Like I said, in 1 TD. Again, he was making himself available. And that's the problem I have with this team moving forward. They got to clean it up on defense. They have to clean it up. They got to clean up all the deficiencies that's in the secondary. That you're leaving too much of that middle wide open.
Yeah, and especially when you think the tail end of this game, a lot of those penalties would have buried any other team. To be 100% honest, most teams would have folded after that roughing the passer. They would have totally buckled. The defense would have lost all momentum. They would have given up that touchdown and given up that game. But Philadelphia literally took that, let it roll off their backs, and just went right back into the next play and just got really aggressive in the tail end of that game. Definitely cut from a different cloth, this defense, for sure.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. That's the major differences from this year and last year. It's different, a lot different. Now it's nice again. Like I said, it just, to me, one of the major things that stand out about this game is the toughness of Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
I mean, this dude gets popped in the shin, questionable. It looks like him to return, and he just fights through it. He fights through the pain and agony he's going through. He's fighting every tooth and nail. He's grinding out, and I think that kind of like made him more aggressive because, like I said, he was finding Devontae Smith open. Like I said, that the one he dropped that dime for the touchdown was just beautiful, and then him finding AJ Brown, really really nice stuff. Real fast, Mike says Rex Ryan is head and shoulders better than our DC. Look, Mike, I'll put you over Sean the side right now. Real fast, he goes. Quinn says, for this team, for the city, I'll do anything. Jalen Hurts, listen, my man is.
That's the type of leadership that you want with this team, especially with how close these games have been. You want to have that. You want to have a guy putting that kind of message out to every single player on this team, so that way the second that things start to get tough, like we've been saying since 2017, dude, hungry dogs run faster, and we were hungry to get this win. The defense really dug themselves in after that penalty and just got right back to work and put themselves right in front of Dak, which was one of the keys that I had. The sooner you get to him, the more you wear out that offensive line. When the game's really on the line is where you'll see them start to fall apart, and that's exactly what happened.
Right, and exactly They got to him pretty good. And like I said, you got to him early, but still, like I said, both quarterbacks just going tick for tack, throughout the game, showing their toughness. Joey Wood says too close. Yeah, Joe, a lot of these games have been too close, and that's what we're alluding to. Like, offensively, the Eagles look like they're putting things together. I still feel like there's still like the same 3 formations that they throw to you. They throw the empty back sets. They throw the they throw some couple other plays at you that are still saying to me, I think they need to start cleaning some of that stuff up. And again, the running game was okay. Like I said, I saw a better sighting of DeAndre Swift in the second half, make himself more available to like I said, he called it a nice little pass out of the backfield. Looked like when Jalen Hurts was in danger, he came up. He had nice little holes. He was hitting. But I gotta give it to Dallas defense. Everyone's saying, "Oh, the Eagles are going to clog that run game." And they found the holes. They were finding holes on our team. Here goes Mike says the OC needs to use Julio more, and if Goddard is hurt, to keep pressure on the defense and stall to catch the balls. Also, yeah. Listen, and I kind of agree with you. You got to get what's called you got to get him open. And if Goddard's going to be hurt, you have to try to somehow figure out how to get to Julio involved in this playbook. And I think coming the second half, I think they might have a little surprise coming against the Chiefs in that Monday night game. So you're going to have to stay tuned. But like I said, this is a break for the Birds, so that some guys will get some additional rest that they need. Mitch, what can you take away though from Jalen Hurts in the second half?
Just just not giving up the long ball to Devontae Smith. Just him playing his game, just being a warrior out there. That's the best thing I can take from Jalen Hurts in the second half. Just him being a warrior, taking over a game, closing it out. That's how you do it, man. That is how you do it. Gotta love Jalen Hurts out there. He did run a little bit more in the second half than the first, which I did like. Get him out of the pocket a little bit there. So yeah, that's pretty much it out of Jalen Hurts.
Well, this is I'm gonna let you answer this too, Mitch. Why does the OC at a critical game and juncture trying to run a complex run? Brian Johnson never disappoints. Just when you think he gets it, he does some stupid bleep. Um, how do you feel about that?
Ah, Nick Sirianni trying to be creative. Like for me, he's trying to do things outside the box, right? We've seen him time and time and time again try to think of something, just something out of the ordinary, and that was him. He'll figure out something, and it worked. But I did not like the play calling at all, especially when we were in the red zone there, in our own
Hmm.
red zone. We did not run it out. Like me and my dad were like, run it, just freaking run the ball. I feel like the movie Blindside, run the dang ball, and I'm just like, what's there? Like, what are you doing? Screen pass? Really? Come on. That's the only
Yeah,
gripe I got.
yeah, and I agree. The run game wasn't as effective as I thought. We did get to see though a Rashawn Penny little touches here.
Yeah.
He had a nice little 8 yard game. Kenny Gainwell had three carries for 22 yards and a touchdown. Uh, Star Wars 99 says scary ending. Yeah, listen, we all were all biting our nails. I'm gonna throw this one to Austin. He goes, this was 100% player to win. Dan Quinn was the only true stable game call, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, 100% agree with that. This definitely was a full blown player win. This is exactly, like I said at the top. This is exactly what you expected from Eagles Cowboys. It was going to 100% fall on the players being able to execute more than anything, and that's exactly what you got. I really do feel like Dan Quinn definitely did have the most stable play calling out of anyone in this game, because there were a few times where not even just in the tail end of the game, but in certain situations, like a couple of third and short situations for Dallas where they were going back to throw the ball instead. And just a few things where I'm like, that's clearly a running down, or like you clearly are supposed to pass there, and like just a bunch of weird play calling situations throughout the entire second half of that game, and then just coming back to the tail end of the game, you know, what, like 12, like 13 seconds left on the clock after the sack. You're supposed to get up and clock that immediately, and instead you waste like 6-7 seconds getting yourself lined up to try and do just a run to the end zone and I'll try and find you play, and you end up having that fall incomplete, and you only have 5 seconds left. You're down 5. The only thing you can do is take a shot at the end zone there, and if you have more time on the clock, you can take 2 shots. You clock it there. You have 14 seconds left, maybe 12, and then you're like, okay, here we go. Get one more shot in. Still have time to try for another one. Get a little more creative on the play call, and maybe honestly, they end up with a better chance to win the game there. But instead, you make a bad decision, and it ends up costing you the game. And it's just honestly, it's what the Cowboys have become known to do from time to time is either poor clock management or just poor play calling in crunch time, and they just end up folding.
Yeah, and you're right. And that's what happened with the Cowboys. Just like when they had everything going for them, especially that, of course, that last drive with all the bad plays, and this is where our defense stepped up, especially in the red zone. And I was surprised. I was really happy to see this defense come up clutch, especially that front four. Like I said, they were not getting to the quarterback. A couple guys were. Josh Sweat, we just mentioned about Cunningham. But other than that, I mean, it was ghost town. Like I said, run the same formation, the 4-3. I mean, wasn't seeing anything, no blitz packages coming about. So, yeah, I'm going to answer this one. He goes, did anyone feel like there were, did anyone feel like they were playing not to lose instead of playing to win? No, I don't feel like they were playing to not to lose. Yeah, but they definitely, Steve. I felt like they definitely want to play for a win. Listen, and you want this win again. You don't want to give the Cowboys no momentum. You need this win over the Cowboys because if the Cowboys would have won, both teams would have been 6-2, and you don't want to go that into the break. You don't want to go in with a loss. You definitely want to feel better with a win. And this is a much needed need. Like I said, a win that they need. Again, now you are now 2-0 in the 3-0 now, beating the Commanders twice and now beating the Cowboys. So that's a good feeling to have going into your break. Again, this team is 8-1. Believe it or not, whether you that this team is fighting. They are grinding out wins, but however, it wins a win, and we'll take it. Um, Man, and these comments are just flying in. Uh, so here goes one for Mitch. The Cowboys secondary was hurting. Devontae Smith catches only three balls today.
Yeah, kind of shocking for me. Kind of shocking. He was my player of the game after that touchdown. I was like, okay, but they didn't go after him really. He didn't really throw to Devontae Smith's way. I guess he was trying to focus on AJ Brown getting over 1,000 yards on the season, which he did do. I think he got over 1,000 yards. So there you go,
Yeah,
AJ.
yeah.
But it's just like, no, Devontae only 3 catches, but 1 touchdown. Goddard, 1 catch. Was it 1, 2?
3 for 50.
Right? Yeah.
3. That was a quiet 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he wound up hurting his arm, so we didn't see him the whole
Right.
tail end of that game.
Right, I
Which-
forgot about that.
Yeah, which they were saying earlier. I honestly 100% agree with that statement, though. Running Julio Jones in the offense more now that Dallas Goedert's probably going to be missing a bit of time. Looked like it could be a fracture in the arm or something. He came up after that play where that guy sort of chicken winged the lower half of his arm. He went to do like the clench the hand really quick to see how the muscles feel, and he definitely felt something because he wound up pulling that in close. But this gives you a chance to let a guy like a Julio Jones get some more looks. You know, he's an amazing possession receiver. He's still a great route runner, even at the age that he's at. So you get that opportunity. He showed that he's good on run block coverages too. So I mean, he has that versatility. So if you need someone to come in and fill like a bit of that target share load and some of that blocking load that we're gonna miss with Dallas Goedert. Okay, it was only a bruised forearm, Steven saying, thank goodness, because that would be huge if it was anything worse than that. So, but I just still feel like getting Julio Jones involved in this offense could help out a great deal.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you, Austin. If you get Hooley, maybe some open looks again. He was one of the key pieces for last week. Catching that TD pass. Angry Anthony says, "What a mess of a game!" Oh boy, Angry Anthony has checked in. I can only imagine when he's about to start typing up. I'll answer this one. I want you guys to answer this one as well. Tyler Steve should get the game ball for the football recovery. Guys, what did you think though? Even though the Eagles recovered all their fumbles, but that was scary. A lot of fumble balls were being popped today on the Eagles' behalf.
Oh, I'm just going to say this. 2 hands on the ball. Please. Kenneth Gainwell did not even fumble. He had 2 hands on the ball. I'm like, it's the scariest thing right now. It's the scariest thing.
Yeah.
Especially the DeAndre Swift one that Mike's bringing up that Tyler Steen fell on. I thought that DeAndre Swift got knocked unconscious running into AJ Brown with how he went down. Like he basically landed square on the seat of his pants. And like he was looking like he was seeing stars and then realized like, oh God, I don't have the ball. And then like 3 dudes fell on top of him while he's seated upright. Like that had to not feel great.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give this one to you, Austin. He goes, "What killed me on our last possession? We had a timeout before our first play, or our first play. Are you kidding me? How can you not be prepared for that?
Yeah, I mean, Oh, excuse me. Oh, the coffee's wearing off. There was
Yes.
that was
Yes.
honestly. I mean, I can understand why you end up having to burn the time out there. You're trying to get the right play call, and they come out with a different look. So you're trying to think of what you can flex into. And sometimes you just don't have the time because normally, especially in that situation, it's only a 25-second play clock. So it's going to be a bit of a tougher call. So sometimes you end up wasting too much time. Have to just burn that time out. Unfortunately. And especially when you end up getting to how tight of a situation it was at the tail end of that game, you kind of really rethink and hope wish you would be able to take that back. But I still feel like the team played really well. When it really mattered, they dug in. I mean, even though there was a lot of bending, no breaking, thankfully, in that
Yes.
tail end there for the defense. But my goodness, did they bend? My goodness, did they bend?
Yeah.
Mitch, I'm going to kick this one out to you. Mike checking is Nick Sirianni using all of his timeouts was horrible.
Oh my God. I was talking to my dad about that, and we're just like, what is going on here? It's typical Nick Sirianni at this point. I mean, just the timeouts is crucial. Andy Reid did that back in the day as well. You had that with some coaches. I don't know. They're just trying to save them when it really matters. But you know what really got me though? When they challenged that fourth down and they lost that timeout. And I'm like,
Yes.
why would you waste a challenge there? It was clear that he got it. It was clear as day. Bro, that's the other thing that ticked me off.
Yeah, I would love to be a fly in that media room come tomorrow afternoon because my man, because I want to hear his excuse. I mean, that was pretty dumb. You can't be doing that. Like I said, you got to be smarter than that. Angry Anthony goes on. Here he goes. He's already pissed. He goes, I'm so sick of Brian Johnson and Sean Desai. I know, Angry Anth. I know you got a punching bag in your room. Start punching it. Start, if not, hit your pillow. Here goes my man. Steve checking goes, no matter how old he is, BG is always comes up with a key sacks almost every big game. Philly here is BJ. Yeah, listen,
Absolutely.
Steve, he was, and again, it's nice for him to come up clutch in two meaningful sacks. I mean, those two last drives where it looked like Dak was about to take it home, and no, he gets the penalty call, and then Brandon Graham comes up big with those sacks, making sure he does not take care of business. Yeah. I mean, if anything, Brandon Graham needs a little nod for coming up clutch when it looked like Dak Prescott was getting hot at the right time.
At the end of that game, had me sitting here like Josh Sweat, dude. I literally boy, oh boy, this was man. But yeah, definitely shout outs to BG because that was exactly what you needed him to do was just have that one quick spot, one or two quick spots there at the tail end of that game, be able to pick up the defense because it took until that tail end of that fourth quarter for them to be able to get to Prescott again. They had got to him twice in the first half. And then in the last 3.5 minutes of the game, we got to him 3 times.
Yeah. So I'm gonna let you answer.
When that game really mattered, we decided to just eat Prescott alive.
Yes. I'm gonna kick this one to you, Austin. One from Mike going is there was too many passes catch plays for the Cowboys. The Eagles defensive backs played so far off the ball.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the caliber of talent that Dallas has at the wide receiver position, and CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, even with Ferguson playing as well as he did today, with just the sheer capability that they have at their position, playing up close on them isn't going to usually be the best call all the time. I understand,
Right.
getting them a quick bump off of the line of scrimmage, helps out, but Michael Gallup, especially in the tail end of the second half, those guys were doing a great job of being able to just run their routes and find themselves getting open in the coverages. And
Yes.
I understand why you play back on them because of the fact that their sheer athleticism and their speed is just unparalleled to most guys in this league. So you really want to be able to give yourself as much capability to be able to make a play on anything that they're on, but how quickly they can cut to the center of the field or sit down in a space between a couple of zones, it's really hard to defend that a lot of the time. So you got to take the wins, especially as a D-back when you can, with how athletic these guys are, with how CeeDee Lamb can play. We know what he's capable of. He finished with almost 200 yards today on 11 catches. So you play it as hard as best as you can and hope to be able to limit the damage. And he did a lot of damage, but he himself didn't score. So I feel like you get a bit of a win there. And the guy that I was saying, it wasn't Ferguson that I thought could have been the hero if it wasn't for that half a football length. It was Schoonmaker was his name. That guy, he has to be kicking. Him and Dak both have to be kicking themselves right now.
Oh,
I think the broadcast said it was a combined total of about 3.5 feet that separated this from being a Dallas lead.
wow.
So, I mean, just if anyone ever says that football is not a game of inches, show them those 2 plays and tell them this wound up being a 5-point loss for Dallas, and they would totally understand what you mean by it being a game of inches.
Yeah, not so good. Real fast, we're going to get to this comment. Hertz has been focusing on Brown on the side since their side fight. Yeah, listen, and that's great too. Listen, Mike, he has been. That's just a security blanket. And unfortunately, he did not get 7 games straight of 125 yards of passing. Unfortunately, he did not get all those yards, but still, up to now, man, he's been
Still a solid
great
outing for AJ Brown, though.
Yeah, he did. He had another game. What do you have?
I think it was 66 yards and a touchdown.
Yep.
Not a total bad day.
Yeah,
but
it wasn't a complete loss. He got halfway there.
Right. Steve checking in goes, Goddard only has a bruised forearm. Anger Anthony goes, Jalen Hurst is upset with AJ. Listen, that's his security. And listen, maybe he was checking. That's his first read. He looks where AJ's at.
Yeah, and especially with the raw ability that AJ Brown has, you make that look as often as you can with how consistent he can be. And
Right.
Don't get me wrong, Devontae Smith is just as good. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to be able to keep that an even target share when you know that teams are going to be looking out for both of those guys. So,
and right. So I'm going to give you this one there, Mr. Mitch. He goes, Jalen. No, we already did this one. That was the best best news of the day.
Talking about the Goddard bruise on the arm.
Yeah.
Here goes Mike checking in. He goes, Nick Sirianni should
do what Parcells used to do to his running backs.
What Parcells used to do, running backs carry footballs everywhere. Yeah. Hey, listen, we're talking about 2 different pieces. Bill Parcells is a legend. You talk about.
I would honestly rather talk about Bill Parcells than Rex Ryan, though. Let's be 100% honest here.
Yes, all day. Angry Ant checking in goes, what sucks is the game management when you were up with over 4 minutes and not running the ball and throw the ball and gave the Dallas the with the 2:15 left in the game. Yeah. And look, Angry Ant, that's what we're talking about. Listen, the Eagles kind of let them hang around. And again, they weren't comfortable. I don't know why they abandoned the run. And I guess they weren't feeling like they were getting enough what they were trying to see. But again, and I guess they don't want to, I don't know. I guess they don't trust the running game as much. They don't want to, it's like they want to use DeAndre Swift, but yeah, I guess they don't want to feel like they want to burn him out, but they don't have like a plan B instead. I mean, Kane Gainwell is getting these little touches here and there, but I don't know. It's weird how they constantly they ban the run. At some point, someone's going to put an end to that. You're going to be on someone's film.
I feel like we did a good job of really balancing the game for a good while, and then in the tail end, like Angry Ant brought up, it was tough to see. You get that turnover on downs, really close to your goal line. You use the brotherly shove to create some space. And then you get to that 3rd down screen pass. I mean, don't get me wrong. Devontae Smith put as much effort as he could into getting as close as he could to that 1st down marker. But that is not the go-to play on 3rd down there. I understand, playing it safe. You don't want to run the risk of getting a pick 6 there. So it is what it is. But there were definitely a few play calling decisions that I feel like definitely could have been way different and could have probably changed the scope of this game. But in the non-alternate realities, I'm fine with getting as few nails as I have left from biting them all off at the tail end of the game. I'm totally fine with going into the bye week at 8-1. I'm looking
Yes, and
forward to Kansas City in 2 weeks. It's going to be an amazing matchup. This is the real test of the schedule here. We had Dallas this week, bye week next week, then Kansas City, Buffalo, San Fran, and then complete the sandwich with Dallas again. This is a bit, Pat. You'll understand exactly what I'm saying here. This is a sandwich with a lot of meat. This is a sandwich with a lot of meat. In this part of the schedule is where it's really the are you still a top contender after you run this quick gauntlet of potential Super Bowl teams sandwiched by your biggest rival in your division. So this is the real test here. If we can get out of this at least 3-3, we're going to be in a good spot.
And listen, look, after tonight, I get it. There's been games when we've been playing down to the competition. I've gotten it, but the teams that look like they were like going to scare us the most, like the Rams of the world and the Tampa Bays of the world, we want to blow those two out, and then you go against this Cowboys team. This team again came to fight. Again, are there big question marks about that secondary? Absolutely. But however, guys on offense, guys are fighting for inches. You knew at some point that someone was going to put double coverages on AJ Brown. Someone was going to look to shut him down. Then AJ's got Jalen Hurts had to make a couple plays with his legs. When he felt like there was no one wide open. Again, his first check, his first read is to go to AJ Brown. But when he does not see AJ, then he starts looking around, and then it's boom. He's got to take off with his feet. So right now he's doing a-okay. Chris LeClaire checking in.
He's still making some good reads out there, even with the extra coverage they're putting on AJ. The offensive line's holding well enough to be able to give him the time to be able to look through a few things. And then if the pocket collapses, it's collapsing on the outside edges so Hurts can step up and through to be able to gain some yards if he can't get rid of the ball. And it's been, he ate a couple in the first half because he realized, it's not worth it right now. Just go down, take the 2-yard loss, and then go in on the next down. But there were quite a few spots in the tail end of this, the second half of this game overall that, the pocket would start to collapse on the outside edges from Parsons and Lawrence, and he would take 2 quick steps to get one more final look around, and then just if he had to, he would tuck and run. And I'm totally fine with that. It's it's not the same explosive style of play that we're used to with Jalen Hurts, but it's definitely still a good style of play. He's playing as conservatively as need be, but still taking his shots when he can, which I'm 100% fine with. I mean, his what was he for completions again today? 17 of 23? I'm fine with 6 incompletions. I'm fine with him only really truly throwing the ball 23 times. Our run game is solid enough to be able to pick up those extra yards that he may miss on those handful of incompletions. So I honestly was totally great with it.
Jalen Hurts, 7 for 23, 200 yards, 2 TDs, and a rushing TD for 10 yards and 36. 10 carries for 36 yards with a TD. So, again, Jalen Hurts doing his thing. And again, one of the major plays, again, you cannot take away from this kid's intensity, his perseverance. Because when that dude was at the, when the Eagles got that back at the in the second half, my man just bulldozed it. The tush push, my favorite move in football. He ran through. And listen, here goes another thing that stood out. And I'm not trying to but I got to give the Cowboys credit. They were converting a lot on 4th downs. A lot of 4th downs the Cowboys were converting. And that was going to. And then they did their own version of the tush push. I got kind of jealous. I didn't like that too much. You Cowboy fan, you can't be stealing our moves. You know what I
mean? Their formation was definitely a totally different look than what ours is. They came in with a couple of extra offensive linemen in there and stuff. Like everyone's it's easily replicated but not easily performed. Let's put it like that. It's easy to give the same look, but then you look at that line and you're like, there's 9 offensive linemen lined up here.
Yeah, you can't do that. So Chris LeClaire, thanks for checking in. He Philadelphia Eagles defense is bend but not break. Ann Grant is laughing. Luke Greco, the teacher has checked in. He goes, shout out to Brandon Graham. Yeah, Dak's forward progress was stopped on that play. If you look, the ref was about to stop the ball short, but then
The flag
uh,
on fired, yeah,
oh
the
yeah, fire
unnecessary
flag was
roughness,
thrown.
yeah.
So I get it. Uh,
But I
could
mean,
they
even
they
even
could have settled it?
on that, even because we're watching here on Fox, Dean Blandino, the referee that they have that like talks to them and stuff. It should have technically been offsetting penalties because Ferguson gave him a shot first. It's just the referees didn't see that. They saw Byard pop up those hard two hands. Of which, did you notice that Byard like put everything into Ferguson's chest and only wound up knocking himself over in doing
Yeah.
that? Like
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
was, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty funny to see, but at the same time, like not really a great spot to put yourself in at that point in the game, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Uh, Here goes one for you. I'll give this one to Mitch. Malai looked confused on how to block a guy. He lets a lot of guys go past him.
It's just like they had his number today. He did not look like Mailata. Is he injured or something? Was there an injury that something happened?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, not that I'm aware of either.
I mean, he just had an off game. It happens. I'm not that
Mm.
worried.
There you go. It could happen. Uh, Big Al checking in. What a freaking game! Hey, listen, down to the wire. What do you expect? Eagles and Cowboys. A divisional dogfight. It was all there and more. You couldn't ask for a better game. Here goes our man Mike checking in. Parcells, I meant. Yeah, I listen. Steve checking in. I'll let you answer this one there. Austin, he goes, the Super Bowl team, MO was bending but not breaking. If we somehow get Ruby back, Hurts healthy and clean it up, maybe I could talk myself into hope. Just hard right now.
Yeah, I mean, I totally understand that. You know, the wins that we have been pretty sloppy in the tail end. So I mean, I could definitely understand, not feeling 100% confident on, going into if this is the way the team is the rest of the way, going into a potential playoff game in general with how sloppy we can get in the fourth quarter. Dang, dude, who's letting the Limu Emu and Doug show up on this show right now? Who did it?
Dude, my oh
Put him
my
in the
god,
bathroom.
put him in
Put
the
him
bathroom.
put him in the bathroom. But yeah, like
Uh,
I mean, it's it's definitely a cause for concern. The way this
yeah,
team is playing in the second half feels like we're letting our foot off the gas a little bit in terms of the offensive play. The defense definitely bending a lot, and sometimes showing signs of potentially starting to break, but finally being able to quick mend and be able to get themselves right when it matters the most. It can give a lot of concern for potential playoffs, but dude, there's still 8 weeks until we even get there. So I mean, there's plenty of time for this team to be able to tighten it up. Like he was saying, just be able to clean it up, get the guys right coming out of this bye week, going into Kansas City to start off the rest of this run, and hopefully, with the way this team tends to adjust, hopefully the games do get a bit cleaner going forward, and you get a better chance at having that confidence going into playoff time that this team could have a very solid playoff run and potentially a shot at another Super Bowl.
yeah. And listen, w- I'm not. It's hard. Like we can't believe in this team being. Like I said, it's hard for us to believe that this team's 8-1, but they are, and they are going to break. Feeling good about themselves. Again, dealing with some injuries, we get it. The team's limping around. They are physically are limping around right now. They need this break to get themselves together. And like Austin, you said, it doesn't get any easier on the outside once you get through this. You have the Kansas City Chiefs on a Monday night. Like that's going to be tough. So it's going to be, like I said, a lot of fun. I still think the Eagles, though, is as scary as the schedule is, they amped it up. They amp it up a little bit more. They turn it on like they did tonight in this game. They came to play tonight. Now, like I said, we got to give the Cowboys credit. They came to play as well. It's just it was who was hungry more. And when it came down to the bottom dollar, uh, the Eagles defense came up in clutch. The Eagles, I think, got away. And listen, you can call me. Some people might think I'm an undercover Cowboys. No, look, the Eagles got away. I think with a couple of calls there.
Mhm.
Like I said, especially that pass interference one. I thought they got away with
Oh,
a gimme.
when Gallup basically tried to jump through
Yeah.
Bradbury's neck.
Yes. Mitch, I'm going to let you answer this one. Devontae Smith should be getting more. Agree or
I
disagree?
agree. I agree with that. He 2 consecutive games with the touchdowns. He deserved the ball more. With AJ Brown in that record, you had to keep on giving him the ball. You just had to, just make that legacy, to prove to the fact that he might have a better season than Terrell Owens. That's a different that's a different show. But you just had to give it to him. Now the fact that AJ Brown did not get to that mark, maybe Devontae Smith will get the ball more. Get him more involved. Get him more touches game in and game out. That's what they
Yeah.
should be talking about during this bye week.
Yeah, absolutely. Steve checking in. I'll give you this one. All thing is, I will say this: very, very little criticized on Jalen Hurts today. 2 solid games in a row.
Yeah,
That's
100%.
fair.
Another very solid performance by Jalen Hurts. He definitely, like I said, he saw early in the game that there were a couple of spots where the pocket collapsed that he was like, I'm not going to take the chance on this, and just went down. He was very smart with when he would throw the ball away. He was giving himself as much time as possible to be able to get a read, find an open guy. And especially in the tail end of that game, he really helped keep the offense set on the goal of being able to put themselves in the best possible position to win the game. And he checked every box that you needed him to check this afternoon, I should say. And
R-
it's exactly what you want going into a bye week, is that you had a very strong leadership sets of moments throughout the tail end of this game, with Jalen Hurts being able to rally the offense in the last couple of drives that they had to be able to get some points on the board, or just even put Dallas in a bit of a bad spot in terms of field position. And then on the defense, being able to overcome those really bad penalties on that final drive and be able to just lock the game down. It was very solid leadership moments for guys on both sides of the ball. And again, going back to what Steven said, a very, very solid performance again by Jalen Hurts. So, you gotta make sure that you take all of these positives going into the bye week, try and build off of that, work on some of the negatives that you had. Try and figure out what you can do for some of the pass coverage stuff going into Kansas City, because they do have some very solid receivers out there. They're, honestly, more focused on the running back and tight end, but their receivers can cause damage if need be. So, you want to make sure that your guys get right off of this bye week going into a big matchup on a Monday night.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Uh, Grant checking is, what sucks? Mike McCarthy wasted all of his timeouts, and Dallas got the ball back with wasted clock. Yeah, that's what sucked. We could, again, I don't know what was in the game plan there. It was, again, throw, and it was, I don't know. I do worry about the OC. I do worry about the DC. This is their first go around coaching, but the weird part is, to this team, though, what are we, 8, 9 weeks in? I still don't know what the identity of this team is. I don't know. I don't know what the
Right?
identity is. I don't know. I don't know if it's this defense. I don't know. Training in the NN. Checking. Go
Hey,
Birds, best team
Phil.
in the NFL. What's up? I wouldn't imagine that's my man Phil.
Mm-hmm.
Hurst had a bad knee, so he left. Not run the ball. So let's not run the ball. Yeah. Listen, he did get rattled, Mike. He did get rattled, but he battled through this.
He
This dude is tough.
he got banged around a bit, but it's what you expect in any football game, that you're going to eventually have a couple of times where you get hit. So he definitely showed that he could definitely take a few of those lumps and be able to keep playing. So more to him, especially playing with the bad knee.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll give this one to Mitch. My man, the teacher, Luke Greco checking in is
Mm-hmm.
need to work on more read options to Julio Jones.
Hey, if you're in the red zone and you need a touchdown, that's why Julio Jones is here, to get those grabs, to grab those short gains. So I can agree upon that. Now, if Dallas Goedert is out going to be a while, he's going to become huge in the red zone. So yeah, it just depends on Goddard for me and his health.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Mike checking. If you guys don't like hearing about Rex Ryan, just remember, everywhere he's been, he's a DC or he's high, or hired as a head coach, his defense has been top 5. Uh, also, you want to take that one?
I mean, he's not wrong, but when he's been a head coach, his offenses haven't been great. So, I mean, I feel like that doesn't really balance the scale too much. But
Yeah,
I mean, look, would I like a fresh look at the defense? Yes. In the middle of the season, I have to be able to deal with. Like, let's be 100% honest. Most teams that have to hire new coaches in the middle of a season have something horribly wrong. So I feel like with what we have right now, I wouldn't fire him in the middle of the season and try and learn a whole
Yeah,
new defense.
listen, we're 8-1. They're not moving on from nobody.
Yeah.
This is the team. They're scrapping out wins. Look, Mike. I agree with you. There are some ugly wins and stuff. Okay, but they are 8-1. They are finding it out on the fly. They are figuring this out together on the fly. And listen, we get it. Talent wins all. Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. There's sightings. Goddard gets involved here and there. And I get it. So, like I said, this team's going to rest. They're going to heal up, and they're going to be ready for this second part of the gauntlet. Here, I'll give you this one. Mitch, Cindy Brown got totally thrown into the fire late with man coverage. Hope he grows from it.
Hey, there's a lot of potential with Cindy Brown, man. A lot of
Yeah.
potential. People keep on forgetting that he's only a rookie. Him and Eli Ricks. I mean, come on, they're going to be fine. What is it? Their first 9 games of an NFL career. They're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. I guess they want like a Jalen Carter type play, but can't have that all the time.
I mean,
No.
Eli Ricks did already have one pretty big play under his belt so far this season with being able to, get that pass break up on Tyreek Hill at the tail end of that Dolphins game. So, I mean, these guys are definitely getting some really solid moments for themselves, when their names are being called. This game, they definitely got exposed a good bit because of the fact that they're still very raw. It's really tough to, be able to game plan for a rookie to be playing against a guy who's, done it for a few years already in this league and is considered, a top threat in a guy like a CD Lamb coming out of the slot. But in the final drive of that game, when Slay came back from injury, he immediately manned up on CD Lamb in the slot, and someone was trying to tell him like, "Hey, no!" And you see, he looks back and goes, "Get out of here, go!" Like, I got this.
Yes. Hey, this one's for you, Austin. Austin, don't poke the bear or feed the pat. What am I, an animal? What am I, an animal here?
Yes, actually, you are.
Why should I start chewing on paper?
I mean, if it gives you your nutrition that you need, I'm fine with it.
I'm not gonna. If there's a little bit of peanut butter on this, I might have eaten it. Anger anti-checking is I'm not worried about Kansas City, but they are falling apart with all the outside distractions and the crappy job of play calling. Yeah, listen,
Pat Nagy,
Pat Nagy play calling. Yeah, listen, I'll look. Listen, I'm hoping that it's doom and blooming going in Kansas City, and but it's not going to be easy to go down in there on a Monday night to play against that in that stadium against that team. It's prime time versus Patrick Mahomes. It's never an easy W, my friend. Never an easy W. My man,
Kansas City, man.
Yeah, my man Tyrone checking is AEAGLES. Eagles, boo. Nah, great game. Listen, I think my man Tyrone is a Baltimore Ravens fan. I think my man could have possibly converted to come to the green side. I think we could
look, dude. I got tons of respect for the Baltimore Ravens, dude. They're a team that's doing something that no other team has done, and that's have one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in the league in Lamar Jackson. He's been cooking, man. He's been doing really good so far this year. And fun fact, Gus Edwards, 5 touchdowns in his last 2 games. So I would take that every day. I mean, I did. I drafted Gus Edwards in the fantasy league. So, I mean, yeah.
I did in one of my leagues, too.
Dude, such a grab. I have him and Derrick Henry as my 1 and 2 running backs right now.
Wow. I gave up on fantasy football. I gave up.
Dude, I had last pick in the EOP league. took Devontae Adams at number 12, and then I had first pick round 2 and took Derrick Henry.
Wow.
I had him in the EOP draft last year. It was like the 8th pick. I had Derrick Henry.
Dude,
Wow.
I finally
Wow,
I
that's a
finally started
steal.
Dalton Kincaid, and Kyle Pitts actually got targeted today.
Oh God, what are we doing here? That's
I mean,
awesome.
As long as Kyle Pitts doesn't finish with better numbers than Dalton Kincaid tonight.
Right.
So,
Uh,
shout outs to LJ. I'm going up against him right now, and I think he's the only undefeated team left in the league.
take him down. Take him out.
I'm down by 9.
Wow. So you're hanging in there.
Oh, you got this.
Yeah, you got it. You'll be all right.
Kincaid's playing right now, and then I have Justin Herbert tomorrow, but he has Keenan Allen, so
Wow.
it's gonna be really tough. It's gonna be so tough.
Getting back to the comments here, I'll give this one to Mitch. The DC was okay. The DC was okay before getting hired. Just remember, Jonathan Gannon, big knock was not blitzing, but his defense was top 5. Oh man, he is not gonna let go on this trail here, Mitch. I will let you have a.
Let me handle this. Yeah. You know what's funny? All over Twitter today during the game, I don't know if you guys saw this, but people are saying Jonathan Gannon's defense is better than Sean Desai's. And I'm just like, I don't know about that, but it's pretty damn close. But yeah, I don't know, man. The defense has a lot of question marks, and that was my prediction, actually, 28-24. Oh my God. That was mine. I made it on the pregame.
Yep.
Wow. So
24, I did 30-24.
We all had the Cowboys having 24.
I think Dives had them scoring 21.
He shouldn't. He was close there. Wow.
EOP checking in. I'm going to imagine this is my man Al. He goes, I don't know what people thought. This played out exactly the way I predicted it. It was going to be 28-24. I didn't account for Dak being dumb.
No one ever accounts for Dak derping up, dude.
Yes. My man Tyrone says, shout out to my guy Pat. Oh, thanks, Tyrone, my guy. Our man Steve, not scoring in the fourth quarter makes me scratch my head, man. I'll give you that one, Austin.
Put this game out of reach if you just scored at least one touchdown. I mean, honestly, it was definitely not good for the blood pressure, for sure.
Oh.
But I mean, having to rely way more on your defense than letting your offense be able to sort of carry them a little bit definitely doesn't help. But being able to get the win at the end of the day is what it's really all about. But I totally understand. That is definitely not a good look, especially in a game as tight as this had been the entire time. To have a couple of opportunities to be able to put a drive together and put this game really out of reach for Dallas, and to have to punt the ball twice, definitely not great. But the defense did their job when it really mattered, and could have been sitting with only a half game lead in the division going into the bye week, but taking 2.5 is even better.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to answer this one. I wonder how do you have a talented team like this, defense, and not blitz at all or barely? And listen, that's the crazy part. Like, I've been begging Angry Ant for some blitz packages. I've been begging, and I don't get it. You run the same formation, the 4-3, the 4 guys up front, 3. I don't know. I don't know how this team is the way they are. I don't know. I don't get it. They're playing tough though, so you got to give them credit for that. They're doing everything offensively. So
I mean, here could be.
Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Yeah, man. Here goes one reason though that it could be, and that is with how thin we are in the secondary in terms of having very young, unproven corners that are backing up Slay and Bradbury right now. You're not blitzing as much because it just drops them into man coverage. And as you saw the opportunities that Sidney Brown and Eli Ricks had in man coverage, they were getting deep. So you want to try your best to limit the damage that those guys have to take
Mm-hmm.
By having those extra guys there, being able to supply like, a potential like a buzz zone or a robber zone coming down from a safety, having that extra help up top and guys like Byard and Blankenship being able to cover to, give an extra set of hands out there on a potential pass breakup. It's, you have a lot of unproven guys in the secondary and you need to be able to, pick them up whenever you can, and committing extra bodies to the line means that you're going to leave them hanging out to dry sometimes. And I understand, you want to have teachable moments for those guys, but at the same time, if that teachable moment is a touchdown that ends up losing you the game, it's going to be harder for them to find a teachable moment in it than to be like, hey, it was just 7 yards, dude. It's okay. Like, there's still plenty of field behind us, and there's still plenty of time for us to be able to put something else together. I would much rather have this team right now only commit 4 and have the linebackers and safeties be able to help out some of these younger guys in the secondary than have it be, loading up 6 in the box and then having
Mm-hmm.
5 dudes out across the back and leave them defend for themselves. You know what I mean? Like, having that extra supplemental coverage can help out a lot, especially with, Eli Ricks and Sidney Brown both being rookies. It's a lot for them to have to be able to handle. And to be able to give them some support is always a good thing, and it'll help them to establish some more confidence going forward.
Yeah, and I agree with everything you just said. Like, you're going to need that. You're going to need, like I said, the blitzing is going to come. Like, and I get it. It looks
Yeah, I
like
mean,
the same
we're
stale
rushing 4 and
vanilla.
getting to the quarterback pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally get that. So, Mitch, I'm going to let you answer this one from our own Matty B, and you can check him out here tomorrow night, I believe, at 9 p.m. or Tuesday. Sometimes his shows fluctuate, but Matty B checking in goes, Dean's injured again, lost in coverage, not much for pass threat, rush threat. Why are you not? Why are no Eagles
What?
fans speaking openly about it?
You know what? I was actually gonna make a video about this tomorrow. I'm not joking. I was gonna make a video about this. And when the Kobe Dean went out, I'm like, here we go. The coverage is gonna blow. And what do you know?
Hmm.
I did not even think that the Kobe Dean could be one of the best coverage players. I didn't even think that, honestly. And then Cunningham stepped up. They all stepped up, but it was just like, damn, that was a big blow.
Yeah, absolutely. Steve checking in goes, Brad Battery and Slay pulling it together on this last drive as well. Big leadership and rose above some of the not so good moments. Hey, listen,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
Like I said,
Listen,
Slade coming back in after being on the sideline with that injury for a couple of plays, and I want to say it was Blankenship was coming down to be like, dude, don't stay up that close. And Slay literally just waving him off, being like, no, go back there, let me do this. Like, he needed, I feel like he needed that moment to be like, I need to prove to these younger guys like it's easy. You just have to really commit to it. And
mm,
he really did. He put some real good pressure off of the line on CD Lamb on that play. And I feel like it helped out the younger guys. Bradbury getting involved in that pass breakup along with Blankenship in the corner of the end zone on that, hey, we're not gonna clock the ball and give our team more time to take shots at the tail end of this game. You get a lot of really good teachable moments there for these young guys and a lot of good examples through play for these young guys as well. So it again, it was a dirty, dirty win. It was a really knock them down, drag them out, fight the entire way through. But a win is a win, and you're gonna
and,
take that every single week that you get it.
and we'll listen. We'll take wins to win all day long. I get it. Like I said, a lot of people are not happy, especially when Mike here goes. There is no identity. I've been saying this since game one. And listen, and that's an issue. Like, there is no identity. I'm still trying to figure out. Maybe this is just an offensive driven team. I don't know yet. Defense, I don't know what they are. I know it's DC and OC just still trying to figure out what to do. That's what it seems like. But yet they're grinding out winning. I guess because of the talent that they have is going to cause them to win. Angry checking is I know the identity, but the team needs to figure out what the identity is. Okay. He goes. Let me not skip him. He goes. I like Greg Williams better than Rex Ryan. Yeah, listen, I'm not thinking about uh OCs and DCs till the Eagles are out of the playoff round. Then if that happens, then we'll discuss all that. The OC has to get some. The OC has to get some three steps drops for Hurts, as when he goes through his progressions, it's slow.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean that's still part of the process of understanding the new offense is learning where each read is going to be. So sometimes you'll take a couple extra steps. Sometimes you'll instead of running it from under center, you'll run it from the shotgun, so you have a bit more time to get those looks. So it's still a work in progress, and I understand week 9 you would think they would have a better grip on everything by now, but it's a constantly evolving game, so you have to be able to either evolve with it or stay just ahead of the curve, or you're falling behind. And this team is definitely doing what it can to be able to stay ahead of the curve, or even in certain situations like with our QB sneak play, creating that curve. So I mean, this team is, like I said, they're still learning. They're still understanding what this offense is meant to do. The defense is still understanding what a lot of their roles are in certain positions. Um, there's a lot of new guys that are still trying to understand, their place with the team. There are some guys that are stepping up into positions that last year they didn't have to play at all. So, there's a few guys that, you need to give them a bit more time to be able to find their comfortability zone and just be able to, just grind it out week after week, be able to, pick up the guy next to you as often as you can.
I totally agree, and that's like I said, that's what such a good point, Olson, because that's what the team is. They're playing for each other, and they're grinding this out. They're going through the dogfight. They're going through every desert storm that you can think of. They're going through this Jumanji. They're getting hit with all sorts of craziness right now. If you want to bring all these bad analogies from me, they are going through everything right now, and they are still putting. Look, they're an 8-1 team at the end of the day. They're still a good football team. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. The record is what they say. What it says is. That's a Bill Parcells quote. Luke Greco checking in again. He goes, not a bad game for the rookie Tyler Steen. Um, I'll give this one to Mitch. Steen is definitely better than Opa. Rick and Brown are a work in progress, but the arrow is up.
The arrow is up for Tyler Steen, and I remember when we got him, and everybody was just telling me, Mitch, this is a great pickup for him. It's going to be a great skyrocket. He's doing everything that he possibly could, and recovering that fumble was clutch. So that was a good game from Tyler Steen. I cannot wait for what his future holds.
Oh, absolutely. Here goes King of Fortnite. Yo, what's up?
Hey, I
King
was
of
just playing
Fortnite
for my
goes,
league.
bro, how about those Texans? Who cares about those Texans?
Hey, I picked them to
Shout,
win.
hey, shout out to the Texans, man. They're actually starting to put it together a little bit. I'm liking what I'm seeing from that team
Oh
out there,
man.
and play, they a lot of upside for that team going forward in the next couple of years.
Hey, listen, they might be changing things around. They might be finally getting together. But right now that AFC South belongs to good old Dougie P. He's running things down there. You have to
Yeah.
answer that, Kimo Sabi. Here goes Anger Anthony. How about the Kansas City Swifties instead of the Kansas City Chiefs? Yeah, that's a good neat slapper joke. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. Um, Here goes our man Mike. He goes, "Let me know what the Eagles do
The
do
Eagles
before the
defense
season.
did before this
Before the
season.
season."
I mean, yeah, I mean, I understand. They did a really good job getting to the quarterback last year. The defensive selection was definitely a lot more aggressive. There's still a lot of time in this season for there to be a lot more for this defense to do. There's a lot more work to be done. This defense has already put in a ton so far this year. So I mean, still plenty of time for more workload to show up and them to be able to do more.
Yeah, absolutely. Philly halftime says, "What's up, everyone?"
What is up, my
Uh,
guy?
Again, King of Fortnite says, "Yo,
Mhm.
Steve, because of Mauro is better and most people, you know it." Um,
I
and then
mean,
go ahead.
when the Kobe Dean was injured the first time, he stepped up. Nicholas Morrow did step up. Didn't he have 3 picks in one game or something like
Yes,
that? I mean, he stepped up. He stepped up in this game when it mattered the most. So Nicholas Morrow, I really like Nicholas Morrow, but it's pretty damn close. It's pretty damn close.
You know what?
Really
I believe I want to say when him and Cunningham first came over, my man died was pulling his hair out because he didn't want to believe. But again, any move that Howie makes, I'm all in. I'm all in. Anything he does, anything he touches, defense, offense, I'm all in. So trust me. I think this team's in good graces moving forward. As like I said, is there stuff they could clean up? Absolutely. Every team has something to clean up, but this team is the best team in the league. They're 8-1. You should be happy with that. We should be happy with that. And I feel like it's still, like I said, I get it. It feels like they're a 5-4 team, a 4-4 team, if you will, heading into the break. But look, they're a 5-4. They are an 8-1 team. So we should all be happy. Delco Green checking in goes, how about them birds? I like that. I like that. Here goes one for Austin from Anger Anthony. Anthony, Austin, but you have a good D line getting to the push up field, but the linebackers just stand around. If I was decide, I would have Nola Smith one side Reddick and the other side for blitzing from these linebacker spots, and I have a spy in the middle running a 4-4 defense. Thoughts on that, Austin?
Wait, so a 4-4 would leave you with 3 players for your secondary then? So what are you going to are you going to expect your linebackers to cover, or are they just going to just all blitz and you're just going to leave 3 dudes to be able to fend for themselves against 3 receivers when it's literally 2 safeties in a corner? You have no over the top help. I understand, getting to the quarterback is a necessary thing. I totally understand that. We're doing pretty dang well with usually rushing 4 guys for the most part. Every once in a while when we do blitz, we create pressure. So I mean, I'm fine with the defense doing what it's doing in terms of the front 7. I'm totally fine with it. Like they're Josh Sweat, Hassan Reddick, the defensive tackles are all putting in their work. They're getting to the quarterback when they can, and they're putting a lot of pressure on opposing quarterbacks and being able to stuff a lot of the opposing run. So I mean, let these guys cook. I mean, if you're having a lot of young guys out in the secondary, give them support, because the more you let them essentially the more you leave them out to the wolves, essentially, the less confidence they're going to have, which makes them easier to break as an opponent. The more you can rattle a player's confidence in a one-on-one game where it's if it's me and you, Pat, and I'm burning you, you're going to start to get into your own head. If you don't have support over be it in an over the top kind of route, or just support in general from another player, you're gonna start eating yourself alive, and then you're just gonna get cooked consistently. So having guys like Byard, Blankenship, even having Nick Morrow and Zach Cunningham being able to run those buzz zones, having that kind of help for these young guys is going to mean a lot going down the line as the season continues. Because you don't want these guys to lose their confidence because of the fact that you saw what Eli Ricks did against Tyreek Hill at the tail end of that game. You saw what these guys did in the tail end of this game. They started to buckle down. The penalties got to them a bit. That pass interference was definitely not as good of a call as it could have been. I would have totally understood it, but having these guys really rally around each other and be able to pick each other up is what really matters the most. And especially in coverage in the actual time of game, if you're leaving these guys on their own, they're gonna get beat, and then they're gonna beat themselves. So you can't have that. You can't. These guys are too young and too impressionable, too early in their career to lose confidence now. You need to start building that for them, so that way, as you get to the tail end of the season and it really matters more, they already have that confidence instilled in them that they can make this play. They can do this one thing. They can cover this guy that normally would be considered a mismatch. So I mean, you instill this confidence now. Letting Sidney Brown be able to play in a press against CeeDee Lamb is a very teachable moment. It's a very teachable moment for him. He took that he took that and was willing to do that and didn't tear himself up over it after the fact. They definitely could do better in terms of supporting in terms of coverage, but it's still coming along. I mean, we're still grinding out wins, which really, really matters. So you give these guys credit where you can. They're still young, they're still learning, they're still going through the whole process of even just being in the NFL. Like there's some guys I've heard from interviews. It took them like 6-7 weeks to realize like holy ish, I made it here. Like
Yeah.
and then when that finally wears off, they're realizing, oh ish, I don't have much time to turn it around, or I'm off of this team, and my dream could possibly die.
And
So
that's
so you want to have the guys that we have it in this locker room. You know, the Fletcher Cox, the Hassan Reddicks, the Darius Slays, the James Bradburys, these veteran leaders that can help these guys realize, like, hey, you're here, cool, congratulations, but you have to work to stay. So having these guys be able to, give these guys these teachable moments in terms of the coaching, having the players that are here to be able to pick these guys up, it's crucial. It's absolutely crucial. Because if you don't have that, look at what a lot of these teams are with very young makeup for their entire team. A lot of them, if you don't have a veteran presence somewhere to be able to help these guys understand what the real pressures of a season are, they don't really succeed as much.
correct. And that's like I said. And like I said, this is still a fairly young team. Again, this is a coach, a very young head coach, and like I said, it's still all coming together, and it's still like I said, everyone's banging the drum and beating it. And look, it's turned like you said. Also, at the end of the day, it's an 8-1 team. Getting back to the comments, my man Mike Pepperneck says, "I'm talking about a new head coach, defensive coordinator after the season." Listen, I get you. I know
mean, it's a possibility. It's always within the realm of possibility that you could end up making a change when the season's over because the overall makeup of the defense isn't exactly what you were hoping for. It happens all the time. It's just it's a business at the end of the day, and if the team isn't succeeding in the way you want, the change can be made. Like I just don't like in the position that we're in with the record that we have. I feel like you don't not ask questions. That's not what I'm saying at all. But take the wins when you get them, and we got a lot of them. So just
yes,
I'm not trying to like bring anybody down from being high on this team. I'm not trying to convince. I'm not trying to blow smoke up anyone's rear that this team is way better than they're making themselves out to be, even though they have one of the best records in the league. This team is grinding out wins. And at the end of the day, it helps to build the character of the team. Because if you're fighting consistently, your identity is going to be that you fight. Like that's going to be the identity of this team. Dude, I don't care if we win by 40. I don't care if we win by 4. I don't care if it's 3 inches that determine the entirety of a game or 3 yards. If you're winning a game, you are winning a game, and you're winning a game. So I mean, I'm fine with some of these wins being ugly because they're teachable moments. You're 9 weeks into the season. You have 8 more weeks to go after this. Take the momentum that you're carrying from this win, take it to Kansas City, take as much of it as you can, because even though they look like they're reeling, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. Like they're gonna ball and they're gonna win, just like how we are. We ball out. It's ugly, but we win. So like don't underestimate Kansas City because they're not a horrible team. They're not.
No, especially at home. They're tough. They're going to be a tough outing. And again, like I said, don't take this team lightly. Getting back to the comments, I'm going to give this one to Mitch. Bone bruises are usually take 4 weeks. Offense will be transformed after the bye. That is where I choose to hang our hat. I have to believe in Brian Johnson's learning.
He is learning. I mean, he's learning on the job, right? He's learning on the fly. So he's going to make mistakes, but that bone bruise coming at now with the bye week, don't ask anything more. The bye week is much deserving now.
Yes, yeah, and I agree. I'd rather take your lumps now while you have a nice little bye week. So you're going to have roughly what a week, 8 days to get yourself together until that Monday shows up. So you're going to be, like I said, some little bit of time to lick your wounds. Steve goes, no loss, just bruised for him. He'll be okay. Oh, here goes. I'm sorry, I skipped this one. Loss of Gary is going to be big, major part in the run and pass game. He also moves the chains. Hey, listen, And look, they'll figure it out. And like I said, I think he'll be ready for that Monday night game.
Oh yeah,
Um,
definitely.
I mean, no matter what, the adrenaline in that man's body is gonna be ready to rock and roll. And here goes Mike Papernick. Sean Desai wasn't good before getting hired. Getting hired, it feels like Billy Davis is running our defense. Here goes our man Philly halftime. We have to stop struggling on offense and defense. We need to get back to Eagles football. Uh, yeah, you're gonna have to lighten that. Yeah, enlighten me on that one. Once Ruby and Byron get their reps, I think we'll be better on defense. I want to get through these. Yeah, but if the corner is getting beat and there are confidence goes down, but what happens if their head goes down and can't pick it up? Just like a Jalen Regular or Watkins, there are their head wasn't picked up after that. Hey, listen, I get you. Look,
Yeah, I
they
mean
are going to build confidence.
that's what's going to separate, who really truly is NFL ready from who isn't. Is learning, is being able to take that kind of criticism and how you can play those kinds of situations better. If you're willing to be able to, build off of it and, come back better, then you're definitely ready. If you decide to ignore that and let yourself consistently just dig a hole for yourself in terms of your mental going through a game and even after a game and going into the following week, then you're not ready. And we'll definitely learn that over time. But so far, these guys have had quite a few teachable moments, have had quite a few spots where they were, the guy that they had to rely on. And sometimes they come through, sometimes they don't. But being able to, learn from those and build from those is going to matter a lot, especially with how thin we can be in the secondary, especially at the corner position.
Yeah, absolutely. For you, Mitch, how about this one? How about Brady Fraction as a consultant, like a Vic Fangio?
Oh my god. If that happens, I mean, Sean Desai, he's learning on the job. I know he's not as good in Seattle, right? But yeah, yeah. But for me, it's just like if we bring him in, I don't know. I mean, is it really gonna help? Maybe a little bit, but I don't know. I don't know about that.
Uh, yeah, absolutely. I'll take this one. Steve goes, look at the Phils. Winning by 10 didn't get them win 6 and 7. Yeah, listen, we have to go back
Don't
down that
remind me.
avenue? It
Don't
is a
remind me of
painful avenue, my friend. It is a painful avenue to talk about the Phils.
Look, every Thursday night, Pat somehow manages to find a way to tie in LAFC into something that we're talking about with the Union, and he opens up old wounds. And he's lucky we're not at the same table because I would eventually jump across and hurt him. So
Yes, willingly. Here goes one. I'll give this one to Austin. Look at Kansas City. They imploded today, but because they are so used to having everything handed to them. One series against Miami, they have been playing great, but the rest of the game, Mahomes went crazy and started yelling at everyone.
yeah, I mean
Um,
that's what
that's gonna
happens when your
happen.
offensive scheme starts to get figured out. Their teams are going to start to be able to adapt to what you're trying to adapt to, and it's going to leave you
Uh,
reeling. It happens a lot. It happens in every game. Like I said, if you're not staying slightly ahead of the curve, or in certain situations creating the curve, you're too far behind already. So I mean,
right.
every team is trying to catch up to what Philadelphia and Kansas City have been doing. They were the two teams that were in the Super Bowl last year. So you want to try and be better than those two teams. So teams have been learning how to get better. And, Philadelphia and Kansas City are both still on that curve. But from the way that game against Miami looked this morning, man, Kansas City's starting to slowly fall behind little by little. And, you look at who the receivers are. Who's their top option at receiver? Marquez Valdez Scantling. Like,
Yes.
is that really what you want to be saying? Like last year, one of their key options was Juju. Like, it's not the best. I mean, McCole Hardman,
Yeah,
who's
they got
back
him
with
back.
Kansas City after being sent away. Like, there's just so much that these teams are doing to get better and create a better path for their team to succeed. That if every team isn't adjusting consistently throughout a season and being able to, put themselves onto a higher spot in this learning curve or ahead of it, or again, like I said, potentially creating a branch of this curve that pushes a little bit further, then you're way behind and you're going to be left reeling. And Miami proved that with Kansas City today. Kansas City was really left wondering what the hell was going on in that game against Miami today. And Mahomes was very, very fired up about it.
Yeah, and listen, like I said, Austin, if anything, this is going to just put some more fuel to the fire come next Monday. Last 3 questions of the show. We're going to get to them. Here we go. This one's for Mitch. We're a Super Bowl contender, and our DC is learning on the job. Just think about that.
That's exactly what I said earlier.
It's beautiful, isn't it? It's beautiful. It's beautiful that one of our guys is learning on the fly, and we're still considered a top team.
That's exactly what I said earlier when someone asked about what's his name being a mentor.
Bringing in Rex Ryan as the assistant.
Something like that. I'm like, he's learning on the job. Same with Brian Johnson.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like Brian Johnson's play calling at all. Don't get me wrong. I hate it.
Right.
But it's just
right.
You got to learn on the job at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take it from Pat.
Yes. Learning on the job. And I screw things up. Here goes our man, Steve. He goes, Sixers and Birds are having good therapy. We got to hand to them. Listen, Steve, and if you are a 5 for 5 guy, make sure you check out Wednesday because we have our Philadelphia Union taking game 2. So don't leave out the Union. If you want to leave with the Flyers, I'm okay with that. But don't please. This is a 6 for 6 down. Let's keep it at bay. But yeah, I got to hand to the Sixers as well. They are playing very, very well.
The fact that one matchup on both sides of the MLS playoff bracket have had a second game while no other team has played a second game yet baffles me.
How about that?
I mean, being a soccer traditionalist like I am, the fact that you're doing a best of 3 series and then one and done, when you could have done it just like any other tournament and done, total aggregate goals in a home and home set, makes me very upset.
Oh,
yes.
I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Oh my God. Hold on.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. My friends had sent me this. You got served.
Wow. he did get dropped.
He got blown up on that play. That was so good.
Oh my God, I'm saving this. I'm gonna put it in the chat.
My Anthony goes, Angry Ant goes, when Andy Reid gets fired for the Eagles will have an offensive coordinator job waiting for him. I'll let him retire from there. And he goes, I think Travis Kelce is not in the game. He's worried about Taylor Swift. Hey, listen, I don't care. I hope he's thinking about her come next Monday. And then one more. So having a second set eyes to help the defense in the Rex will not hurt. I didn't hear any complaints about having Vic Fangio last season.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't complain about Fangio last season. Would I have my own personal concessions about Rex Ryan the person? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But would I have concessions about Rex Ryan as being like, hey, maybe try this? I'm fine with that. But if we're just like, hey, Rex Ryan is here because of his personality, the man has about as much personality as a bag of dog do. So
wow.
That's just my opinion on him as a person. As a coach, he's not bad.
No, he's not bad at all. Before we close out, roll fast. Austin, take it away. Player of the game and plugs.
Player of the game and plugs. Player of the game is the clock. The clock won this game for us.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Yeah. But I mean, honestly, though, I have to go with Jalen Hurts. Another clean game from him is always great, especially in a big divisional game. Tyler Steen was definitely one of my choices. I'm not going to lie.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, Jalen Hurts played an incredible game. Absolutely big in the rivalry game and going into a bye week. You'd love to see that. Plugs. Here we go. Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Talking Philadelphia Union with that guy. And and also, twitch.tv/Hambo26, youtube.com/@Hambo26. Twitter, right down here, this little guy @Austin_EOP. if you play Magic the Gathering, DM me some deck lists. I would like to look at some of the absolute nonsense and or debauchery that you guys play in your decks, because I know I run some absolute filth, and I just want to see how salty I can make other people by playing other cards that I don't remember from years ago.
Yes. Mitch, player of the game, and give me a plug.
My player of the game, well, in the beginning, pregame, it was Devontae Smith, so I can't go with that. But for me, I'm going with Brandon Graham and Josh Sweat at the very end. I'm going with those two guys. And you know what? I'm being generous. I'll throw Cunningham in there. Just the second half alone, he came alive.
Just Darius Slay and Zach Cunningham for creating that Dak meme.
Right? Oh, my God. I just sent it to like 5 of my Cowboys friends. But, yeah, guys, you can check me out on YouTube at Miss Topsy, Hardcore Sports, Twitter Miss Topsy, and Fly Like an Eagle podcast on Edge of Philly Sports every Thursday at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you tune in.
All right, and of course, you got me. Player of the game for me. Man, you guys pretty much took everyone out. You took Jalen Hurts. You took the.
I just took the defense.
You pretty much just took the whole defense.
You could give it to Reed Blankenship for stopping that TD short by like a third of a yard.
I could go Reed. I'm just going to say, I'm going to say Goddard. I got to go Goddard. Goddard's getting more involved. He's getting more touches. 3 catches for 50.
Angry ant.
Player
of the game is Byron for wanting to fight Ferguson.
Yes.
Oh,
Mike. And I thank you, Luke Greco. The teach saying player of the game is the gobbler. Well, you can't go wrong with that. But yeah, you can check.
Matty B.
Matty B. That's great. Of course, you can check me here, Edge of Philly Sports, Union Beat Reporter, Union and Wings Beat Reporter. Just covering pretty much PM and the AM, tack and third, steel steps, pretty much everywhere here on the Edge of Philly Sports. Guys, thank you so much.
Friday and Sunday you can catch Pat.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much I live at this computer. If I don't live at this computer, I live down the studio computer. As Mike said this morning.
Look, I live at this computer too, dude. Most of the time it's playing Baldur's Gate 3, but
yes.
Me too, man. Me too. Running a network, now part of this, and doing my own content. I'm here
24/7, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So guys, thank you so much.
I wouldn't have it any other way, though, man.
I wouldn't either.
Especially now that we're in football season, dude. Turn it up to 11. Let's go.
Not just for me. Sixers right now.
Yeah.
Well, that's like I said,
I'm doing Flyers too. I'm doing Union Eagles and Flyers, man.
I tried to stream the Flyers game. I fell asleep. I could not do that.
Dude, I've been able to watch. Smart man. This is a gripe that I should save for another time, but I'm just going to do it right now. I paid for ESPN Plus. I've gotten to watch 2 friggin' Flyers games off of ESPN Plus, and I am absolutely livid. I have been so mad for like 3 weeks. I saw the Flyers play the Oilers on there. Last time I seen them on ESPN Plus. Every other game's been a local broadcast. It's been blacked out. So I've just been having to go to CD sites on my computer to watch hockey.
Yes.
You're killing me.
So before we,
bro, and you would think like ESPN's like the exclusive home for hockey. Not your team, bud.
Yes. Before we roll out here,
it's like, yo, you want soccer? Here's every game.
Yes, how about that? You know, they hook. I'm telling you, people shortchange the MLS. Just covering the game alone, they take care of you as far as your food.
Princess and create magic so I can see my team play in my city.
Yes, they do. Real fast before we get out of here, guys, I just want to say thank you, everyone. And guys, make sure you stay tuned. If you're not into lacrosse, please switch over. Check into the website again. Check out All Lacrosse All the Time with my man Double Gary, Sean, Muffler Mike. Those guys are killing it right now. Go check those guys out. Guys, have a good time. Good night. I want to say thank you to my man Mitch. I want to say thanks to my man Alston. Guys, this has been fun. I didn't realize we went an hour and a half. I was only expecting a half-hour show, but we went an hour and a half. We appreciate that. We appreciate the love and comments, everyone. So thank you, everyone. We are out.